So for those who don't know me, my name is Arthur Fonseca. I am a career advisor at Avenue Code, HANA Campus partner in crime. I've made some talks about purpose some time ago. It's not something I've been speaking recently, but that was something that helped me in my career, in my development. So I think I can share with you some experiences, some practices here. And this is the kind of subject that, of course, I'll try to bring you some reflections, but you have to think a lot with your hearts, because the purpose doesn't come only from reflection, from logic. Reflection and logic is very much welcome, and it's useful for our career, but it's the action of the heart, the courage, that will help you to connect and to get the benefits of thinking in the subject. And so, well, I just want to contribute. I hope I can do so, and I'll just jump into this thing, and I hope you also jump in with courage to the reflections that I'm going to bring to you today, because it's 30 minutes, but I think like in a blink of an eye, this will be over, because it's quite I think an interesting subject. So when we're talking about career development, and we're thinking about what we want to accomplish, there are some things that we usually think about. When we're talking about career development, we usually start thinking about, so I should define my goals, my objectives, and then I should make my plans, identify my strengths, my weaknesses, organize myself, prioritize. And this is about the how part of the question. How do we develop our career? We can use all these tools. We can use some very nice methodologies. We can learn from the agile. We can learn about best way practices. And at Avenue Code, you are probably very much connected to some of the practices that we bring here. You might have heard this from talks that we do or in other situations. So for example, and I'm just going to rush here because that's not part of the main goal of the talk today. When we're thinking about building our career, we have to set goals, and we have to set goals in a SMART way, which is an acronym for 5 things that we should follow, which is basically making our goals very clear, specific, related to deadlines and to times, and relevant to what we want, that can make our brain make it clear. We have already talked about the prioritization that we can do when we're defining action items with the 70-20-10, which just states that usually when you're trying to build your development, you should focus on actions that are hands-on, that you can learn from experience. And we also talk about prioritization. There's not enough time for us to dedicate to everything we feel is important, to grow our strengths and to also work in our weaknesses. So we have to understand what is the smallest part that if we invest in, will give us the best return on our investment. So this is all part of what we kind of do the malabarism, right? We're just trying to balance all these plates so that we can bring our career to life in a way that will be motivating and so on. So at Avenue Code, we have lots of tools for you to do that. So we help you think about yourself with the SWOT analysis. We help you to build a very thought-through plan with the taking ownership presentation. And this is all well and good. But this doesn't answer everything we're thinking about career. This is about the how. So why? What for? You want to organize yourself, you want to achieve your goals, you want to make better, you want to be effective, you want to be reliable, you want to be consistent, you want to develop new habits. But what for? Why are you doing that? Why do you use your intelligence, your energy to be all the way through? It all has to connect with the place that you want to get to. And not only in terms of a concrete objective, but also in terms of what is the difference you want to make for yourself and for the world through your life. Where does your career will leave you once you, or will write down about your history once you leave this world? All of us, sooner or later, will leave this world and will die. And by the time that day comes, we don't know if it's going to be sooner or later, our story will be already published. So you can't change your book anymore once that's done. So this makes even more important for us to understand what kind of thing we want to make the difference for ourselves and for others. So this is kind of the why of the career. That's kind of the purpose. What do you want to achieve in the end? Not only in terms of deliverables, not only in terms of books you read, of works you've done, but the difference you made. What difference do you want to make? And being more clear about that will help you use the how to your best benefit. It's very hard, it's not very much effective if we just think of the how and don't think of the why. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about purpose. Why do you want to do what you're doing? This talk about purpose became much more frequent. I can't say exactly when. I think I started hearing it about 2012, something like that. But I'm pretty sure one of the guys that really contributed to this being more popular was Simon Sinek. He's a guy who made this diagram here. It's called the Golden Circle. And he was saying that companies or people, if they want to grow and if they want to thrive, and he even brings up the example of Apple here, they should start with why. What does that mean? That means that before what you choose how you're going to do and what you're going to deliver, you have to answer the number one question, which is why. Why do you do that? How the thing that you're trying to do connects what you want to who you are. This reminded me a little bit of what Holly said yesterday in the opening, when she was saying that she was with their designers and the designers were developing and they were delivering things, and she would ask them, so where is your heart in this project that you're building? And then they come up with, no, but this will be good for the client, will deliver value in this way. But where is your heart? This is the question that we should first take a look. What is your why? Where is your heart? What's your reason to do things? And what happens is that if we jump to the how and to the what, maybe we can start with something that's a little bit more solid and that will take out a little bit of the discomfort of the why. But we're not really sure if we're going to land in a place that will be meaningful and that will fulfill us. So the question I would like to help you reflect here is, where do you want to get by the end of your career? What kind of things you want to be when you're done? What kind of difference you want to have made? Because this is what's going to fuel you with the energy you need to go through the house. And to do that, I just would like to make a quick break, because when you're talking about purpose, it's very common that this is identified sometimes that, the important question that if you answer, you have find the answer to all the problems in your life. But that's not the way it is. I would like you to approach purpose, as we're going to talk it through, as something that will support you in your way. For some people, thinking more thoroughly about the purpose will be a very huge boost of energy. From others, it's just going to be, a further clarification or something better. It will contribute regardless, but watch out not to treat this as, if I don't know what I'm doing this for, if I don't know my purpose, I just can't do a step ahead. That's not the case. We can every day, do a little bit more, and what is important for us will get clear with time. So to introduce the subject, I would like to play for you a video from Tony Robbins, in which he explains about a method he has, which is called the rapid planning method, in which he inserts as a way to build up your results, to build up your development plan, the purpose in the equation. So let me share my screen here. So there are some subtitles, and I hope you can hear him well. It will be about 3 minutes.
Breakthrough. But whether or not you get that result will be, are you clear and specific? But also, do you have enough juice when it doesn't work out? How many of you are going after an outcome in your day or in your week, and for whatever reason, you're not able to get it? The person doesn't respond, they're not there, the thing's not there, something interferes, somebody interrupts you. Who's had their plans interrupted? Raise your hand and say, I. So whether you keep doing it or not is, do you have enough emotional juice? See, guys, you all know out of this week, you got more than enough to take your business to a whole nother level. You got more ways you can go home and be artists now. And some of it, went by so fast, but many of you go to the program, you'll watch enough times, you'll be there. Some of you are going to invite us in, we're going to be there and make sure you do it. So it's going to happen. But the art of it being followed through or not is going to come to you have the emotion to follow through, and that needs to be a part of your thinking also. So the next question I've always asked, besides the outcome, is why? Why is more important than how? Why are we doing this? What's the purpose? Purpose is more powerful than object. Purpose is more powerful than object. You say, I want $1 million. That's a great objective. I want $1 billion. Great objective. I want to feed 3,000 children in my community. That's a beautiful objective. It's even more specific. But even that objective, you might get excited about, so you realize what it takes to feed 3,000 kids, right? And the politics involved, and all the people that don't follow through. And then you have this good intention, and somebody else is pissed off because one of the kids didn't get fed, right? And you did everything you know how to do. What's going to make you keep going? Purpose. Why do you want to feed those 3,000 kids? That $1 million, that $1 billion? Why are you going to take your business to the next level? Why is the most important thing to know, because that's where all the emotional juice and fuel is to actually get you to go through when the challenges show up. Every person you see who's on fire and is successful knows the why. You know what the problem is? You might know the why in the beginning. You wrote a mission statement and stuff like that. You got to know why you're doing this right now. This right now. That's what's going to engage you and activate the why. You might have a why, but it's not active. How many follow the difference what I'm talking about here? Say I. Otherwise, that little law of familiarity shows up. We're doing this because and you repeat the why, but has no emotion behind it. See, if I take a stick pin, no, I don't see anything like that, but when a woman has a blouse, they have like a little stick pin in it. Let's think that stick pin is a word. And I take that stick pin and I throw it at you. Are you going to feel it? Barely. But if I take that little stick pin called a word and I wire it to the back out of a giant iron bar called emotion, now I can take that stick pin and put that thing right through your heart. That's the power of why. RPM. R is the result, the outcome. What you're after, P is the purpose. It's the why. 80% of success is why. 20% is how. Get a big enough why, people figure out how to do it. Yes. How many agree with me on this? Say I. So you better know your why.
So his message is quite straightforward. He's a powerful, energetic guy. And this, what he said, is very true, because we set up goals, we set up targets for the new year, for some new habits that we want to develop. But things will get in our way. Things won't go as we're going through. So instead of just going through and fighting with it, and just trying it harder, connect to the reason why you're doing things. If you connect to the reasons that you're doing things, you will get a natural and more emotional and energy that will make you want to overcome, instead of just pushing yourself to overcome. So this is why we should reflect about what is the reason why we do things. And I would like to invite you for a quick exercise now that you can do with your notepad in your computer, with a piece of paper if you would like, or just open a document, because I'm going to ask you some questions for you to answer to yourself that are elements that might help you elucidate and raise what do you want? What is your purpose? You're probably not going to have a very clear answer now, but if by the end of these minutes you raise some elements that are key to you and that you want to be always present, I think that's a good result for a 30 minutes talk right now. So get a text, a notepad or a paper, and just connect to some questions that I'll do right now. I'll make questions about yourself so that you can reflect. And I'm going to give a very short time for you to answer this question, for you to write down your answer. So, and this short time is important because the aim is for you not to overthink. We don't want you to rationalize. We don't want you to just try to write down the perfect answer. I would like you to write down whatever comes to your mind at the first place. This is most likely going to point out to something that's important and natural and instinctive to you, instead of just overthinking. All right? So once I do the question, I'll start my timer, and while I don't interrupt you, just write down everything that comes to your mind. Everything, anything. Don't think, oh, I don't think that's really it. Don't worry, you have time to refine it afterwards. So, all set? So first of all, I would like you to write a number one. That's question number one. And after the number one, you will answer, what are your strengths? What are your strengths? So what do you do that usually you do with little effort and easier and with better results than most people? What are your strengths? Write down anything that comes to your mind right now. All right, so enter number two, and then I'll make question number two and you answer question number two. If you have a free afternoon, just going around a bookshop, what kind of subjects or books do you naturally attract yourself to? What kind of things will you just, take a look? What are the books that you would visit? If you don't really like reading books, think that you have just a free time to browse the internet and to find subjects that you like. What are the subjects that naturally attract you? All right, so next line, question number three. We're going to have 7 questions in total, all right? So question number 3. What makes your eyes sparkle and your heart beat faster? So connect with emotion. What makes your eyes sparkle and your heart beats faster? All right, question number 4. For this question, I would like you to imagine that you're going to write a book. And whatever you choose to write about will be a bestseller in the world. Whatever book you choose to write, it will be read by millions and millions and millions of people around the world. The message you convey in this book will be accessible to everyone. What would this book be about? Question number 5. What does success mean to you? What does success means to you? What is your definition of success? Question number 6, and this is going to be the final one. I'm cutting one short. What needs that the world has that you would really much like to contribute to solve? What needs that the world or the people in the world have that you would really much like to help solve? Speak to your heart. So our time is up. I hope that you enjoyed this little ride. And before I just make the final sharing with you, how I would suggest you to proceed. Set aside some 10-15 minutes. Underline about 10 words or phrases from this that you wrote down that mean the most to you. And then you can try to have a reflection on what would be the thing that you really much care about. My purpose of life would be to support or to act this way, to contribute in this way. This is just some seed that I sowed. I have a short video that I would like to share with you, but if you have some questions and anything I could contribute, I would prefer contributing to your questions or comments instead of showing this final video. The 7th question that I didn't do was, what is your ideal world? So this is another one that you could reflect on. But yeah, just had to cut a little bit short because of the time. Anything else? So I'm wrapping up, as I'm not going to share the video, and you can just jump in and interrupt me if you would like to comment anything. But with the last few minutes, the video I was going to show you, and I can share the link so that you can watch it afterwards in case you haven't watched it yet, was a part of Steve Jobs' speech for graduation of the Stanford University. He was saying about, this is a very famous video, and he shares 3 of his learned lessons in life. They are all very interesting and insightful messages. But there is one message which was the one that I would share with you here. And let me just keep to his slide. Did you have a raised hand or a question? So the last question, the last reflection that he was sharing about was about death. He was saying about how things changed when he discovered his pancreas cancer, and that things could just end from day to night. And that one of the things that was most valuable from him in this experience is that he said that when you look death in the eye, I didn't have this experience myself, but when he speaks, you can almost feel how it would be when we stare death in the eye, because someday all of us will stare death in the eye. Is that everything else seems less important than living whatever you believe in. We all have our beliefs, we all have our needs, we all have changes that we want to do, we all have things that we want to stand for, we all have frustrations that we would like to be done differently. We all have important decisions that sometimes we want to make and stick to it, but we hold back. We hold back as if holding back, would, because I don't want to get hurt, I don't want to take risks. What if I do this decision and things blow up in my face? What if I regret it afterwards? The news is that you don't have as much time as you think you have. And things are not as critical and important as we think they are. So, and this is not only Steve Jobs, like the Buddhists from Tibet have been speaking for this for thousands of years. We have to understand that this purpose that you're thinking about, the strengths that you want to use, the difference that you want to make in your world, you don't know how much time you have to do that. So just put aside all the rubbish, all the garbage that there is in your head, saying that you can do whatever you believe you can do. Because when we are true to our heart, when we are true to our purpose, things will work out. Our part of the equation, our contribution for things to work, is to come in with heart, with courage. In Portuguese, courage is very much similar to English, but then you can connect more with coração. Coração, coragem, ação, action and heart. So if you have a clear vision of your purpose, if you just connect what's important, don't wait for you to step up to it. Bring it to because the things just will build around. And we are in a company, and probably I suppose that you have friends that want to work by your side. So watch out, don't live your life through other people's eyes. Don't live your life following what other ones. Live for your own values. And then having clarity of your purpose will help you push through whatever obstacles come. So I really recommend that you watch this video, because I just try to summarize in a way here, but his talk is very inspiring. Hannah, we've just hit the OO here, so thank you so much. And if you need any references from this quick speech here, I'll be happy to offer you.